Hey, it's Jeff, welcome back to another video. Today I went out and bought this large 10-inch basket of golden pothos for $30. My goal or intentions for this plant is to repot it in one of my WallyGrows that I have upstairs. It currently has a jade pothos in it, but sometime late fall and even in the winter, I had a little bit of a spider mite issue and even possibly thrips upstairs. So I have treated it numerous times with an insecticidal soap, and I don't see any more insects or anything like that. But some of the leaves did sustain some damage that they won't repair on their own, so they're just gonna look like garbage for the rest of the time that I own that plant. So I'm actually going to take that plant out of the WallyGrow, clean up the WallyGrow obviously, and then see what I can salvage for healthy looking stems and leaves, and then maybe repot that in another pot of jade pothos that I have. With that being in a little bit of a higher light location, it's in my south-facing window or just off to the side. I want a plant that has a little bit more like color pop, so that's why I chose this golden pothos. These plants are amazing. They're super easy to grow, relatively cheap, like it was $30 for this huge plant, and they just look fantastic. I don't know what it is with these yellow and green leaves. So I'm going to start with removing the jade pothos from the WallyGrow, and like I said, I'm gonna clean it up and see what I can salvage for stems. I'll show you some of the damage on there as well, but it's just gonna be kind of a casual little repot video today, and yeah, I hope that you like this style of video, and I got nothing else to say. Let's get started. The plant still looks really good, but you can see there is some areas where there is damage to the leaves. So, like I said, these will never repair themselves. They'll always look like this, but for the most part, like these stems are super long. Like, look at these things, almost reaching the ground. I want to salvage as much as I can just because these leaves are getting fairly large, and even the stems themselves are pretty thick. So I do want to propagate these and save portions of it, but just basically this section up here with the damaged leaves. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's some speckling here, so that's definitely some spider mite damage in the past. You can see some yellow edges on this one here too. So a lot of the plant closer to the pot itself has the damage, but when you get further down the stem, I don't really see any damage, so I'm gonna salvage what I can. So let's take this out of the pot and get started. There's no easy way of doing this. I'm just gonna move a couple plants out of the way. But I did grab this plastic bag, which I'm going to just place the WallyGrow inside. And where's my knife? Okay, I got a spoon. I'm not gonna reuse this soil either, just because it did have pests in here at one point. So there's a little insert, I don't know if you can see it, at the back of the WallyGrow. I'm just gonna pull that out. Just set that aside, and then just gonna use this spoon just to loosen up the soil. Just try and remove it all. Oh boy, I think the roots go right down to the bottom. Just gonna use my hand and just dig it out. Just pull it. Ooh, it's all roots. That's pretty crazy. I didn't think it would be root bound so fast. This is a really large pot. Actually, it's not bad. I just felt a lot of roots cracking. Okay, so WallyGrow's empty. Gonna set this aside. And let's take a look at the roots here. So they're not bad. Let's see if I can get this turned around. Actually, all the roots are at the bottom. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I'm going to just loosen it up a bit and see if I can salvage a few of these stems, because I don't want to throw anything away. But I gotta get it apart here first. I'm making a huge mess. Okay, I'm just gonna pull these guys. Okay, so I'm just gonna try and separate as much as I can. Just pulling these apart. I'm gonna have to find a spot to put these. Just on the ground or something? Okay. What have I gotten myself into? This is a pretty big project. It's gonna be pretty messy. Obviously, I'm gonna be damaging some of the roots. That's inevitable there, but holy smokes, these roots they're all entangled, so that doesn't help. It's a rather ambitious project today. Wasn't feeling motivated for anything, but once I went out and saw that golden pothos and I got a little motivated. Whoops. Okay, I'm getting dirt everywhere. Okay, here's the cuttings. Here's the roots. I'm gonna salvage or save these ones for the other pot. Now I gotta find a spot to put these. Stand by. Now for the remainder, there's a few larger stems like this. I'm just gonna take my pruning shears and just cut like a nice section like this, making sure there's no damage to the leaves. I don't see anything on this one, so I'm gonna propagate this larger one in water here in a little bit. Just gonna set that over here. Just gonna kind of go through each individual section here just to see if there's any like previous damage. I don't see anything on this one, so I'm gonna save this. Like I said, I think it's isolated to one area for whatever reason. I'm not too sure why. Just gonna pull this. This one looks okay as well. So I got a few cuttings here that I can save. It's never easy repotting a pothos just because you're usually dealing with like multiple stems in a pot and it can get kind of messy. So these are usually time consuming and very space dependent. Okay, this is, looks like there's some damage on this one. So the thing with thrips, if you don't see them, they lay the eggs in the, like on the leaves, in the tissue. So you may have gotten all the thrips that you can see on the plant, but they will typically, I don't think I had thrips with this one. I think it was all spider mite damage, but not taking any chances. It looked like spider mite damage to me. But yeah, the thing with thrips, this has lots of damage, so this one's going in the garbage too, is, what was I talking about? I always lose my train of thought. Thrips, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, even if you think you have them under control, they can lay their eggs in the tissue of the leaves, and then they'll hatch when they have the right conditions. I just want to show this cutting here that I took off of my golden pothos from up on the plant shelf there. It's almost completely reverted, but look at the size of these leaves. Like, it's almost the size of my hand, but more importantly, look at how beefy these stems are, just super thick. This leaf, it got some light scorch. It was too close to one of the grow lights, so I'm gonna cut this one off. Whoops. And I'm gonna propagate this in water. So I'm gonna take a cutting right here. A new stem will pop out from the top there. Just gonna put that one in a container like that. I want something of about equal size, so I'm going to take another cutting. Make sure that you put it in the right position. If you're ever unsure of which is the top end or the bottom end of a cutting, there's like a little scoop on the inside. I don't know if you can see it or not, if it'll focus, but there's a little curvature on the inside. That always goes towards the top of the stem, and the flushed portion, flushed with the stem, always goes at the bottom. So this is the bottom portion where I made the cut. So I'm gonna cut this leaf off. I'm gonna stick this one in water as well. So I don't know if that helps you guys or not. So this cutting right here, I've kind of lost the orientation. I don't know which is the top or the bottom. So again, the curvature portion of the leaf goes towards the top of the stem, and this portion right here, it's flush with the stem, that goes at the bottom. So I know this is the bottom cut end, and this is the top cut at the top. So I'm gonna take another cutting, again, right there. You're eventually gonna get some new growth popping out from like one of these nodes closest to where you made the cut. So this is the bottom. Again, I'm just gonna cut that leaf off and put this in water. I don't have any water in there yet. I will. You can see this is where I've previously made a prune, and you can see the new thick portion. That thing is thick. It's coming out of the closest leaf node, and you can see this is the curved portion of the leaf at the top, and the flushed part with the stem at the bottom. So again, I know this is the top and this is the bottom here. The stem's a little bit curved, so I'm going to cut this leaf off. Oh, there's another little sprout popping out there. So when I made the prune, it branched out in 2 separate areas, which that's pretty cool. I haven't seen that very often. I'm actually going to cut this portion of the stem off just because I want it to be a little bit straighter. So I have a few decent sized thick stem propagations, and I'll do that with the others there as well. I just kicked over my little humidifier on the floor here, spilled water everywhere, I have to clean it up. So I should actually, it would probably be pretty funny if I did like a live repotting. Yeah, some of the stuff that gets edited out of these videos, yeah, keep your kids away. So anyways, I cleaned up this WallyGrow. I rinsed it with hot water. I used the Dawn dish soap. I scrubbed it down. So now I'm hoping that I can just take this plant, take it out of the pot, and we'll try and like dry fit it in the WallyGrow. If I have to add some extra soil, so be. I can also remove some if needed. So I'm just using a knife, just going around the edge of the pot. I hope it's not super root bound, and I hope it stays intact, because I really don't want to have to deal with a bunch of loose stems or anything like that. It's positioned nicely in this pot. I just got a little towel here just to limit the amount of dirt that I get everywhere. There's a little tray on the bottom here. Okay, it's kind of root bound. Got a bunch of roots on the bottom. So I'll break up the bottom. Oh God, I'm just gonna make a mess. Got a vacuum, dirt everywhere. So I'm going to remove some of the soil just along the sides. And I'm gonna kind of break up these roots at the bottom. Actually, that's not too bad. And then I'll have to get it so that it fits in the container. I think it's a little bit too wide. So I'm gonna take some of the soil off the side. Okay, I gotta take a lot off the sides. It's not something that I accounted for. I hope this golden pothos does well in this WallyGrow. It should. Actually, this is a pretty nice soil consistency. Might actually just reuse this. Okay, so I gotta take off a little bit more from the sides. Something like that is good. Just so you can see, it actually fits in here quite nice. So I'm actually going to put some of this soil at the bottom. Yeah, it's me smelling the soil. I'm not a soil scientist or anything like that, but if the soil stinks, if it smells very musty, then I probably won't use it, but it's actually a nice, consistent, loose, airy soil. It's got a lot of perlite. So I don't know, this, if you've never seen a WallyGrow before, I don't know if you can see it, this is a little watering reservoir. You put the soil in this section, obviously you put the plant, but you have a little area at the back here where you can add water. If you don't want to water from the top, you just put the water in the reservoir. It has these little perforated holes that it kind of soaks into the soil. So yeah, I'm just going to just put that back in. I'm gonna have to add some soil around the sides, so I'll use some of my soil for that. But this plant is from Costa Farms. The tag says it was from Costa Farms, so they have wonderful plants. They always have beautiful pothos. Now I'm going to pick which side has the best variegation, and it looks like maybe this side. So I'm going to, again, just place it in the pot, test fit it, make sure all these roots get down. So the nice thing about this one is that there's not like a ton of roots, so it won't be root bound for a while. These pothos grow really fast. So I'm actually gonna have to take some of the soil out. It's just sitting a little bit too high. So right now it's probably about halfway up the pot. And we're just going to, let's put that back in and see how it is. The roots look really good. They're all super white, super healthy. Okay, that's maybe a little bit lower again. Yeah, that's pretty good. So I want the, I guess, top of the soil from the plant just slightly below the edge of the WallyGrow pot. There's perforated holes along the top, so when I water it, I don't want all the water coming out the sides of the pot. So that's why I just set it just slightly below. Now, where's my little cup? I kind of like doing little projects like this every once in a while. It's like if you have a couch in a certain area and you just want to rearrange some furniture just so that it looks a little bit different, freshens it up, I guess. That's why I like doing these little projects, is I can just take the plant out, change it to something different, and it changes the whole dynamic of that space. Just makes it seem a little bit different. I'm definitely going to have to use some more soil on the sides, but I'm just going to use this soil here just to fill it in, and then I'll use some ProMix tropical plant soil just for the remainder on the sides here. I'm not going to pack it down really tight either. I just want it to remain like a loose, airy soil. It's actually filling in okay. I love how it looks. It looks so awesome. The variegation on this plant, there was like probably 30 different plants there, and I searched them all. There was kind of a funny little story, but they had all these hanging baskets, basically hanging from like the ceiling of their little greenhouse. Now, I'm not the tallest guy in the world, but I couldn't reach the ones that were on the top. And it just happens to be that this really tall guy walked in, and I think he was a bus driver actually. He had a city transit jacket on. So anyways, he was looking at plants, and I said, "Excuse me, sir, can you grab that plant on the top?" And he did. So, I felt stupid. Oh boy. Couldn't reach it, what can I say? For the remainder, I'm just going to use this ProMix regular potting soil. I don't know if you can hear me through the crinkle of the bag. It's actually a nice light mixture as well. It's got some perlite. I'm just going to fill in the sides. Trying not to get any dirt like I just did into the water reservoir. If you do happen to, oh no, I broke the sleeve. If you do happen to get some dirt in that reservoir, just take the end of the vacuum and just suck out the soil from that spot. Okay, I'm going to fill in the front here a little bit too if I can. There's a little bit of a gap at the front. That's looking pretty good. Let me know down in the comment section if you guys have any of these WallyGrow planters and what you think of them. Do you use them in your house? I love them. I think they're just a very aesthetically pleasing. They look really nice. They're very user friendly. And if you have to do any plant maintenance, you can just take it off the little bracket on the wall. Okay. I am super happy that this plant stayed intact while adding it into the pot here. The soil level is pretty good, but there's just a little gap at the back here. I don't want to get any into the reservoir. Okay, close enough. I think when I water it, it will help settle all the soil in the pot. I'm not going to give it any water today because the soil, it's not dry, but it's not damp either. I think it's pretty good right now, so I'm just going to cover that up like that. Okay, I think we're looking pretty good. Just going to pack it down lightly just along the sides. I'm pretty impressed that I didn't make a huge mess. It's just a little bit of dirt that I can vacuum on the floor here, but otherwise, look at this pot. Looks super full, super healthy. $30. I can't believe it. Okay, here's the finished product. Look how gorgeous this looks. It's absolutely amazing. Look at these leaves. I am blown away. I think it looks really good. The yellow and the green just pop with the white pot here. You can see all those little perforated holes. You have to be careful when you water it. Just make sure you have it like in a watering tray or something like that, because water will come out these holes. So that's why I like to take it off of its bracket, take it to the sink or the bathtub or something like that, and give it a good soaking. So here is my jade pothos that I have upstairs. It's in a, this is probably like a little 4-inch pot. I'm gonna upsize it into something a little bit bigger. I'm gonna add those other cuttings in here as well, just give it a little bit more of a fuller look. So I'm just gonna pry this one out, keeping it intact, and then I'll add those cuttings, hopefully just along this side. So I'm using the, I don't know where my knife went, but just using the bottom portion of my spoon. And also, I don't know if you can't see it on this one, but. Okay, so it's got some pretty decent roots on the bottom without making a huge mess. I can show you guys some decent roots. I kind of loosen that up a little bit. A lot of these individual stems are already kind of flopping out, so I definitely have to pot it a little bit deeper in the soil. Yeah, just being a little bit aggressive on the bottom. I'm gonna obviously tear some of these roots up, make a little bit more room for the new cutting or the other cuttings. Just gonna size this up just like that. I'm gonna put this back in my tray because I'm trying to be as clean as possible. Shoot, I should have added some soil. I'm not gonna add any soil on the bottom. Actually, yes I am. Holy cow, dirt everywhere. I thought I was doing a pretty good job. So I'm just adding some soil just at the bottom. So I don't think this cutting is, okay, gotta make room here. Holy smokes, disorganized here. Okay, so I'm adding some soil at the bottom, just a little bit. Just gonna kind of shake it in there a little bit, just so those roots have something to grow into. Okay, now I'm gonna add these cuttings, which I'm making a huge mess. And I'm sure there's people asking or taking some bets here. Is he gonna root prune? No, I'm not. Some of these roots have just fallen off. They're just from the other cuttings, but I'm going to leave everything intact. Just stuff it in the pot if there's room. Oh boy. I should have maybe went one size larger, but I think we'll be okay. I'm gonna kind of spread these. Oh yeah, they'll be good. We're good. I'm gonna spread some of these roots out, just so it's not like two obvious clumps of cuttings in there. I'm in a bit of a rush right now because the kids will be coming home from school soon. The dogs will be barking, there'll be footsteps upstairs. It'll just be absolute pandemonium. Okay, so I'm just gonna stuff all those in. And I'm just untangling. So this is a little bit different than my usual style of videos. Normally I will, focus in a little bit closer to what I'm doing. But if you like this type of repotting video, I thought I'd try something a little bit different. Just keep it fresh, I guess. Let me know down in the comment section what you think of this style of video for my channel. If you don't like it, if you do like it, just let me know. Oh no, I just dumped soil everywhere. Okay, I gotta wrap this up. And then I gotta grab the vacuum. Just bought a new vacuum today. Okay, so I'm pushing these stems down a little bit further. Holy cow, there's dirt everywhere. Now that I'm starting to rush, I'm starting to get a little bit messy. Just gonna shake the pot here too, just so all the soil settles. Okay, I'm gonna clean this up and then I'll show you the finished product. But as of right now, everything looks really good. This stem I don't like because it's popping up. Okay, here is the finished product. It's got a long section of stem there. Everything looks okay. Like I said, it's going to take a little bit of time for this section to adjust or acclimate to the pot and its new location. But overall, it's a nice full basket. It's got a lot of long stems there. But I just want to show you the mess that I made over here. Look at all this. Okay, I got to clean that up. Over there too. There's the humidifier knocked over. So I still have a little bit of cleanup left to do, but I put some water in this propagation container. I have to chop up those other cuttings, the jade pothos ones as well. But otherwise, I think that's gonna be pretty much it for this video. Let me know what you thought of this video, if you liked it, if you didn't. Thanks again for all the support. Thanks for watching my videos. Take care, everyone. Bye.